Parashat Beha'alotecha begins with the nation on the move. For nearly a year, the Israelites have stood at Sinai. They have received the Torah, they have built the tabernacle, the Mishkan, and they have organized themselves into tribes and camps. They have learned how to worship, how to sacrifice, how to live as a holy people. Now, the cloud lifts, the trumpets sound, and the journey toward the promised land finally begins. This should be the moment when everything comes together. Instead, it begins to unravel. Within just a few verses, the people are complaining. They're longing for Egypt. Moses is exhausted. The leadership structure is strained to the breaking point. A generation that had witnessed miracles begins acting as though it has lost confidence in the future completely. It is one of the most honest portraits of a community in transition. And perhaps that is why it feels so familiar. Across the Jewish world, synagogues find themselves in a similar wilderness. We are not where we once were, but we are not yet sure what comes next. Membership patterns have changed. Family structures have changed. Technology has changed. The ways people seek meaning, community, and spirituality that have also changed. Many younger Jews still hunger for Jewish wisdom, for authentic relationships, for purpose, for sacred experiences, yet they often experience synagogue life as something largely designed and governed by previous generations, reflecting assumptions that made perfect sense 40 or 50 years ago, but do not always speak naturally to the realities of today. The challenge facing us is not whether Judaism has something to offer. The challenge is whether we are willing to carry Judaism forward without insisting that it always look exactly as it did before. That challenge is at the heart of Beha'alotecha. The first warning sign appears when the Israelites begin reminiscent of Egypt. They said, "We remember the fish that we ate in Egypt, the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, the garlic." The people remember the menu, but forgot about the slavery. Rashi, quoting the rabbis, notices the absurdity of this. Egypt was not free. Egypt was not pleasant. Egypt was not a place anyone should want to return. Yet, memory has a way of softening sharp edges. Over time, we remember what comforted us and forget what constrained us. Communities can fall into the same habit. We remember when every seat on a sanctuary was filled. We remember when membership was automatic. We remember when children followed their parents into synagogue because that was simply what families did. Those memories are real and they're precious. They deserve to be honored. But memory becomes dangerous when it turns into a measuring stick that makes every present moment feel inadequate. The past can teach us, but it cannot become our destination. The Israelites cannot enter the promised land because part of them is still trying to return to Egypt. No community can move into the future while spending all its energy trying to recreate the world of yesterday. From nostalgia, the Torah moves to complaint. The people's dissatisfaction spreads through the camp like a contagion. Every difficulty now becomes evidence that something has gone wrong. Every challenge becomes another reason to lose faith. There is a difference between criticism and complaint. Criticism identifies the problem because it hopes to improve something. Complaint often identifies a problem simply to confirm disappointment. Healthy communities need criticism. They need honest conversations about finances, participation, vision, and priorities. They need people who care enough to ask difficult questions. What they cannot survive is a culture in which every conversation becomes an eulogy for what once was. If all we discuss is decline, eventually, decline becomes the only future we can imagine. The Torah's description of the wilderness is not merely geographical, it is psychological. The people have lost the ability to see possibility. Soon, that burden lands squarely on Moses. In a very moving moment, Moses turns to God and says, I cannot carry all these people by myself. And this is a sign of his exhaustion. Moses has confronted Pharaoh. He has split the sea. He has climbed Sinai. Yet, what brings him to the breaking point is not a dramatic crisis. It is the relentless weight of carrying a community's expectations. What is remarkable is God's response. God does not rebuke Moses, nor he tells him to work harder or to be stronger. God agrees. The burden is too heavy. Many synagogues depend on a handful of extraordinary, dedicated people. Rabbis, presidents, board members, committee chairs, volunteers, people who give their hearts and souls year after year. They carry responsibilities that once belonged to dozens of people. The problem is not that these leaders lack commitment. The problem really is that no sustainable future can be built upon exhaustion. And so God proposes a different model. Gather 70 elders, 70 wise people. Share the responsibility. Expand the circle. Create more leaders. The rabbis compare Moses to a candle that lights other candles without losing any of its own flame. Leadership in Judaism is not diminished by being shared. It is multiplied. The future of Jewish life will not be secured by finding a few heroic individuals willing to carry ever heavier burdens. It will be secured when more people see themselves as owners rather than spectators, builders rather than consumers. It will be secured when younger Jews are not merely invited to attend, but invited to shape, create, question, experiment, and lead. The elders who joined Moses did not all think alike. They did not all share the same experiences. Their value lay precisely in the fact that they brought different voices into the life of the community. Every generation receives Judaism as an inheritance, but every generation must also become its author. That is the moment in which we find ourselves. Like the Israelites in the Beha'alotecha Parashat, we stand between memory and destiny. We honor those who build the institutions we cherish. We bless the generations whose sacrifices made our communities possible. But honoring the past is not the same thing as living in it. The cloud has lifted. The camp is moving. And the question facing us is the same question facing our ancestors in the wilderness. Whether we have enough faith in the future to follow where God is leading next.